There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie.
I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play? They're here.
Welcome to the Horror Cut.
What's up, horror fans? Welcome to the Horror Cut. I'm Steg, still.
And I'm still Gary.
Still Gary. How you doing?
Good, yeah. It's been a while since we've recorded.
A month, maybe?
Yeah, because we've not recorded since our last Secret Cinema.
Which was...
End of August. But we'll be back with a new Secret Cinema in November. For all you that are excited.
Yeah.
Or jangly waiting.
But well, it is what it is. Thank you to everyone who have been to our Secret Cinemas.
And also those who have popped along to Trash Cinema event that we did the podcast for as well. Because by the time this comes out, those events will have been. So thank you.
Because I'm sitting there looking at you as if, oh my God, have I completely forgot that I attended these events?
No, but future you will.
Future me will. Aye.
So what are we discussing today?
Today we are discussing the House of 1,000 Corpses by the man himself, Rob Zombie.
Yeah. Are you a Rob Zombie fan?
That's a difficult question to answer, my man.
He's an interesting filmmaker.
He's an interesting filmmaker.
And an interesting musician. We should say this is going to be one of a two-part special. So we'll be discussing on this episode a House of 1,000. Is it the house or a house?
I guess it's house. Is it just House of 1,000 Corpses?
We're discussing House of 1,000 Corpses. And after that, we will be discussing The Devil's Rejects. But we probably will spoil both on this episode and the next one. So please, go away and watch these films if you dare, and then come back and join us.
Yeah. So this is our Firefly double.
Yes. Oh, nice. The Firefly. I can't get out. I am so tired. Yes, this is our Firefly double. And we do know that there is a third one in the franchise. Have you seen that?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw it during COVID.
Not heard great things, but I will give it a watch now.
I might revisit it after watching these two again. I don't remember being particularly blown away by it or anything, but maybe just to refresh my memory on it might be a good idea.
So coming back to my question there, Rob Zombie, do you like his films, or is that a mixed bag?
It's definitely a mixed bag, isn't it? I mean, I saw this in the cinema when it came out, and I just remember sitting there and being like, what the fuck was that? But in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
And then I revisited it probably around about 2015 or so, and I loved it.
Right, okay.
Totally loved it.
Nice.
And yeah, watching it again the other night, I don't know, there's something about it that it's just so, for me anyway, it's kind of comfy to watch. I mean, it's we can get into it a little bit more. It's batshit crazy. It's all over the place. There's a lot of things that even Rob Zombie himself will, and he has said, this film is a mess, which is fine. He does seem to be the type of guy that's quite reflective, and he's looking to always learn. So to do that, you have to kind of look back at your stuff and go, right, shit, what did I do there? And then try and improve on it. And I think that's something he does try and do. But for all its faults and all it's quite a divisive film. I know some people love it, some people loathe it, some people loathe his films in general. But I would say I'm a fan, but I do quite enjoy them
Yeah.
at the same time.
So for me, I've not seen enough of Rob Zombie's films to have like an opinion of am I a Rob Zombie fan? My first avenue into Rob Zombie, avenue, is that even the right word? Yeah.
No.
My first route into Rob Zombie was through The Devil's Rejects. And I remember they don't really go hand in hand, but I remember the look, the grade on it, and the trailer gave me House of Ice kind of feelings, like the remake of House of Ice.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that film. So I thought I'd go and check this out, not knowing that it was a sequel. And it wasn't actually until I met my partner Karen. She's not a big horror fan. She likes them, but she's not like an avid horror fan. And we got speaking about The Devil's Rejects, and it was her that told me actually that it was a sequel. And then she said to me, "Yeah, there's another one called 1,000 Corpses. I think I had it in DVD when I was younger." I mean, what? But she was like, "Yeah, it's a bit low budget and stuff." I remember her telling me this, right? She was like, "It's a bit lower budget and stuff like that," but it was all right, yeah. So I finally checked it out for this podcast. Karen came home, and I was like, "Karen, I've watched The House of 1,000 Corpses." She's like, "All right." Just looked at me like she had no idea what I was talking about, and I'm like, "You told me to watch this." She's like, "No, never." She can't even remember if she's seen it. I'm like, "What?" But she got mixed up. She did get mixed up with, and I can see why now I've seen this film, and I'm sure we'll talk about this again, but she gets mixed up with the original Texas Chainsaw and The House of 1,000 Corpses, because she talks about a dinner scene. And both of them have that. Yeah. And looking at House of 1,000 Corpses, you can totally tell that Rob Zombie is a huge Texas Chainsaw fan as well.
Do you know what's funny? I don't know if this is true, but I've heard that apparently this wasn't in his mind whilst making this film.
What, Texas Chainsaw?
Which is, I don't believe.
No way.
You cannot believe that.
Absolutely not.
My
first note, and I don't know why it's here, but my first note on my notes is when the tire blows and one of the characters just goes, "Jesus Christ, Jerry!" because he's not got a spare.
He's like, what he says? He's like, I left it just like lying in the road, no, the driveway or something.
No, he says, I'm sure he says something along the lines of, he's like, "You've got a spare, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, I've got a spare. But let's pretend I didn't. What would be the situation then?" And he's like, "Jesus Christ, Jerry."
Howdy, folks. You like blood, violence, freaks of nature?
On a stormy Halloween night, 4 young people set out across the back roads of America.
What's that? It's a hitchhiker.
What, should we stop?
We can't leave her out here in the rain.
In search of a mysterious figure known only as
Dr. Satan.
You know anything about the legend of Dr. Satan?
Yeah, I can show you.
Dr. Satan! Ah, Dr. Satan!
What they uncovered
You ain't seen nothing yet.
is the most horrifying and shocking tale of carnage ever seen.
Boy, I bet you'd stick your head in the fire if I told you could see hell.
You seen this girl?
Yeah, they want to play Nancy Drew with this local legend that people call Dr. Satan.
Stupid kids probably got themselves lost.
Let's get out of this nut house.
The boogeyman is real. And you found him. It's showtime!
So why don't, you've seen this film a good few times, you were talking about buying the book that's just about to come out as well. I might have just swallowed maybe your creative recommendation there.
Well, I mean, I guess, but I've not, because it's not out yet, I haven't read it, so I don't know if I would recommend it. I think it's just a sort of book of like the making of it, I think.
But you know this film a lot better than me, I think, so why don't you kick us off with your first point in the film?
Should I do a synopsis?
Oh, we probably should do a synopsis.
Got the coin. Heads or tails?
Heads.
Heads.
That means you're doing it.
I'll do it. Okay,
and,
so...
wait, your turn. And go.
Okay, so the film follows two young couples who are out to document for a book the sort of backroad attractions throughout America, freak shows and all that kind of stuff. They run into Captain Spaulding. He has a museum there. He advises them to go and check out Dr. Satan's hanging tree, and they meet baby Firefly, who then takes them to her house, where they meet the rest of the Firefly family, and they are all batshit crazy, and the film goes from there. It's fucking terrible. It's fucking terrible.
So,
I'm just
Steg,
Mars.
what's your first positive point in the film?
Fucking hell. My first PP is to do with Rob Zombie himself, right? So Rob Zombie is obviously a rock metal performer, and he's a bit of a showman, and his shows are full of the sort of weird and wonderful prosthetics and pyrotechnics, all that kind of stuff. And he, much like guys like Alice Cooper, even like, you know, Kiss and things like that, he's in that sort of vein of performer. And this film is basically he's done what he's done in his music, his live music events, and he's basically put it into a film. I think the story goes that this was originally supposed to be a sort of House of Horrors, like a Halloween scare trail kind of type thing. And he was in Universal, and I think he was the one who was putting it together. The next thing he knew, that he was in actually pitching this to the bigwigs at Universal. And next thing he's like, okay, so he ends up just pitching this as a film. And they're like, can you make a film? And he's like, yeah. And that's it. He had directorial experience with his music videos, but never making an actual short or even a feature film.
Yeah.
So that is I guess, plus you could look at it as a negative as well. I appreciate zombies, like you can just imagine Brendan and be like, fuck yeah, I can pull this off, no problem at all.
And he does pull it off.
I think he does. I think he does pull it off. I think, like, if this is your first feature film, yeah, I'd be quite happy with that.
Yeah. What I would say is, for me, as a director, even if it was just this film that I'd seen, you can tell it's low budget, but that's fine. Like, but we can only work with the budget we're given. I would say he can direct. The story goes off the walls more than the direction, and I think that's something it's more interesting to kind of talk about. Is did he know where the script was going when he started shooting? You know, so. But yeah, I think there's some interesting, like, I think looking at this film, I think Rob Zombie is probably really good at improvising when like you run out of money, or you know, when you've only got actors for a certain amount of days, or things like that. Like some of the kind of like archive looking footage is spliced through the film that I'll talk about a bit more is kind of, I would say, kind of genius in a way, because it's only in there because they were running out of money. But the way he's utilised that is quite interesting. I'll talk about that a bit more as well.
Yeah. Utilise the...
I'll go into it a little bit just now then, but like, actually I'll just make it my first kind of
point. Yeah.
Well, my first point is the writing and the editing together. We start off with this black and white opening with the text on screen. It's like old B movies, and it's like terror, thrills, horror, creature feature show. Is it Dr. Wolfenstein and all that stuff? And to me, that's showing Rob Zombie's love of old horror.
Totally.
But I think there's a little bit more of it to be like, it's his way of going, it's just a movie. The people in this are safe, because this stuff is often really violent. And by having this kind of fun, cheesy B-movie thing at the start, I think that is like a comforting thing. It's like, don't worry about these people, just remember. And then you get snippets of it on TV, like in the Firefly house and stuff. You see more of like the B movies in it. It's just remember, it's just a movie. It's not really happening. And then like through the film, there's this like kind of spliced editing. Just for example, I think it's when they break down and they run into Baby and she's pretending to help them. It just cuts to her like looking down the barrel of the camera, sorry, just looking down the lens of the camera, saying these people should just fucking die, or things like that. You know, we just got to kill them, right? And then it's weird, right? And then there's scenes where, you know, there's violence happening, and then it cuts to this like handheld home video footage of it, right? And some of that stuff's in there. You got actors in one after the other. That's filmed in Rob Zombie's basement because they ran out of money, and that's what I mean. But to me, rather than just trying to make it look like the rest of the film, because it's clearly a different camera, clearly it's not got the same aesthetics as the rest of the film. It's almost only used for like that kind of grainy film footage is only used for either violence in the film or sexual imagery as well. And it's almost like subliminal messaging getting through the film. It's like almost like it's like dirty thoughts that we shouldn't be having.
Dirty or intrusive thoughts.
It's just an interesting way of utilising no money.
Yeah. Because I think he did. I think he filmed that after the film had wrapped. I think he went and filmed those pieces.
Because I think he went to Universal and asked for more money, and they were like, "Nope." And he's like, "Right, okay." So he just called on the actors one at a time. They came in and they shot that stuff, and it is really bizarre. And it does kind of it's jarring.
Jarring's the word, yeah.
But I think it's deliberately jarring. Like it's almost like, you know, when like someone's doing your head in, and you're like, "Just want to fucking kill them."
Aye.
That's what fucking like. That's like visually, I think, what's going through the Fireflies' minds, and we're seeing it through like this kind of stocky footage because it's dirty and it's intrusive thoughts, and it shouldn't really be there. Just like these clips shouldn't really be in the film because they totally stand out.
Because those clips do sort of, in a way, you can look at it as the clips can be almost too revealing. They're showing too much. Rob Zombie's showing his hand to it, like going, "This is what I've got. I'm just maybe hitting you with it all," but maybe that is that's the point. There's not going to be, it's not shown in a traditional way. The story doesn't really centre too much on the teens. It's all about the family. It's about them. They're the stars of the film.
And that's why I think we get those.
And that's maybe why you get them. Yeah, and that's interesting actually, yeah. Actually on going into the opening, what do you think of the sort of because after the black and white TV footage, it comes up Rob Zombie film, and it goes into the sort of opening credits, which is that total, it's like a music video that he's done, and that is his style of music video. It's like weird shit, all kind of mashed together. Rob Zombie singing the song "The House of 1,000 Corpses" throughout that title.
I've got a note here that says even the opening credits make you want to take a shower.
Aye.
It's dirty. It's like it's interesting, right? Because I think the film plays with like pleasant and unpleasant, right? And what I mean by that is like even after those opening notes, is the credits before we meet Spaulding or after? I think it goes from the creature feature then to Spaulding and then the robbery. Right? So even before the opening credits, you've got that black and white creature feature, Dr. Wolfenstein, and then it cuts to the signage, and it says Captain Spaulding's Museum of Monsters and Madmen, and it's bright, it's like neon, it's shiny, and then everything around about that is like grimy, dirty, spooky, unpleasant, and that's exactly what this film is. Like things like Baby Firefly, she's cute, she's sexy, but actually she's nasty and quite annoying and unpleasant to listen to. And I think it's playing with things like that. Even somebody like Spaulding, he's minging, he's vulgar, but when the robbers break in, you're on his side. Do you know what I mean? It's like, he is quite pleasant, like to, I don't know, he's just a bit of a weird character. He's kind of mental, but he's kind of nice. Like even when he takes the characters on the ride, right? And then they're like, "Oh, where's the Dr. Satan tree?" And he's like, "I've not got time. You don't want to go out there." They're like, "Oh, come on, man." And he's like, "Okay, there's your map. There's your fried chicken." The guy's like, "Fried chicken." He's like, "Now get the fuck out of here," you know. And you're just like, I kind of like this guy.
It's kind of take a left, take a right, go straight on. If you don't see it, tough. Take your fried chicken.
It's just it's interesting. I think that's what I mean by like unpleasant and pleasant. It's like a mix of it. And I don't know, I mean, what do you think of let's just look at the characters in 1,000 Corpses rather than Devil's Rejects. What do you think of the Firefly family? Do we like them as characters? Do we root for them?
That's the thing. I think we do root for them. You want to see how they interact with each other, with the language they use, how vulgar they are to each other. And is that sort of, they don't take any shit off the other. You know, Spaulding will say to Baby, or Baby will say to even Otis, like, fuck you. And he'll be like, fuck you back. And you're kind of in there to watch this family that's clearly fucking dysfunctional, maybe even like it's got an inbred family. And you're just watching them being like, man, you guys are so fucked up and like just gone. That is the sort of the charm that's in it.
I think it's interesting. I can't tell if I root for them or not, and I think one of my problems is I seen Devil's Rejects first, and the characters are slightly different in Devil's Rejects, I would say. I mean, Otis in this one kind of looks like an albino.
Aye, he does. I think that was in the original script, and he's kind of...
And they totally get rid of that in Devil's Rejects, but like Baby seems a bit more like innocent and goofy in this one, where she's like more ruthless and strong, I would say, and the one after it, like...
Yeah. Well, I think as well, because this film was released in 2003, but I think it was actually sitting in a shelf for maybe 2 or 3 years before they can get it released, due to all the changes and the cuts that had to be made.
Yeah.
I think it was probably actually shot maybe 2000.
Right.
So then 3 years, and then obviously Devil's Rejects is maybe about 2005, is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you're like a 5-year gap there. Maybe it's a way, because Baby definitely looks... She's not as innocent. She's not...
No.
You don't see her in House of 1,000 Corpses. Baby's suitable for a character, I think, but in Rejects, Baby is not, because she's grown.
Yeah. And it's weird. So I was a bit lost in the characters, trying to like, because I was remembering them from Devil's Rejects. I'd watched them backwards, so I was like, this is a bit weird. But then at the other side, I wasn't rooting for the victims. I couldn't even tell you their names, to be honest. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I struggled, and I've seen this film about 4 or 5 times, and I'm like, who's that again? Denise?
I wasn't waiting for the film to be over, because that doesn't give it credit. I wasn't waiting in that, but I was just like, I don't know how I feel watching it. Sometimes, you know, when like victims make stupid life choices, like when they should be running out the front door and not up the stairs, then sometimes you're like, oh, what are you doing? But I was watching this going, no, they're making a stupid decision. You kind of deserve that, mate. You know, so it was interesting. But what I would say is Rob Zombie is more invested in us getting to know the Firefly family than the victims. And I think he does that. And I think Zombie's writing style is interesting, because like having characters use offensive words like retards might put people off a Rob Zombie film, but we're meant to be disgusted with these characters for using words like retard, but it's because these characters don't care about offending. And the fact that I can tell you that about those characters but couldn't tell you any personality about the victims shows that we have to care more about these characters. Not care if they win or not. We care about getting to know the Firefly family more. And I said to you before that Zombies' style of writing reminds me of Tarantino.
Oh, yeah,
so
definitely.
Although Tarantino works across different genres, they've got similar styles in dialogue, because we're usually dropped into a chat, like mid-chat, and it's not important for the story. So, for example, before the robbery, we're dropped in on Spaulding and his friend, and they're talking about, in their words, the local retard. Right? And we could have started with the robbers breaking in. You know, we could have just started just as the robbers come in from Spaulding's point of view. But by getting this random chat at the start, we get to know those characters a little bit more. It's much like in Reservoir Dogs when they're all sitting in the diner discussing if we should tip a waitress or not. Doesn't affect the story, but it's how we get to know those characters. And I think I said to you before that the opening of this film reminded me so much of From Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And it's almost the element of surprise as well, of, in the opening From Dusk Till Dawn, we don't realise the robbers are already in the station when the sheriff and the clerk are talking about them. So that's like a nice surprise. Whereas in this one, we don't know the robbers are here, but when they break in, it's a more interesting surprise in how Spaulding deals with it. And we start rooting for them. The highlight of that scene is when the robber shoots the ceiling to try and give them a fright, and he just gets covered in dust.
And on that scene, the guy that's playing, is it Stucky, Michael J. Pollard? Remember him? He was in Scrooge.
Right. No,
he's one of the guys that he freezes to death in Scrooge. Remember down underneath it, this kind of sewer. And
right, yeah.
And he starts kind of shouting at him and things like that. You should have went to Claire and she would have saved you and all that kind of stuff. But he's that kind of, I like that opening scene because you're getting Spaulding showing you what he's like. He's like a guy who's probably, I guess, well known in that area. And it's interesting to see him just be not a clown, but just be a guy who's shooting the shit with a customer that he obviously knows pretty well. I do like the dialogue it's used, and like you said, they're trying to convey this sort of 70s country hillbilly. That's the way they would have spoke. They're not going to be holding back or anything, and it is set in the 70s as well. We should probably say that. It's
see, when the robbers, he says something like, "Give me all the money," and he's like, "Why don't you take some fried chicken home to your mama before I shove my boot up your ass?" or something like that.
I stomp my foot up your ass or something. Or across the state line or something. I guess those kind of things is kind of Tarantino-esque, dialogue.
Yeah. Talking about famous people in it, you've got Rainn Wilson from The Office as one of the kind of victims.
Aye.
I'm just saying, and you've also got the cop that comes across later, who's Walter Goggins.
Aye. Walton. I always call him Walter. Walton.
Is it Walton?
It's weird. Every time, see if I even see his name, I will say it as Walter Goggins, and I look at it and I'm like, why am I saying Walton when it's Walton? And I was saying that as I'm looking at the freaking name. Do you know what? Actually, you mentioned the opening shot of the museum. I think that's an amazing shot.
Mm-hmm.
It is fucking brilliant. It kind of, let's have a look. You get the Captain Spaulding sign, the sort of neon blue and red, and then it kind of pans a bit to the right, but starts to kind of zoom out, and we get a sort of more faded, dull sign that's saying, what is it, fried chicken and gasoline.
Yeah.
Pulls further out, more to the right, and you've got another clown in neon, and then it comes all the way out, and you've got below the actual garage with the sheriff standing there, and you see it all in the frame. It's just all these different colours, and it just looks like an absolutely beautiful shot.
And then just outside of that is where it's all dark and dingy. That's what I mean. It's like kind of just, it's perfect symbolism for this world that Rob Zombie has created.
It's Showtime, isn't it? It's just like, it's a display.
See, on the robbers targeting Spaulding's shop.
What a bad idea.
Well, one of them, Spaulding's friend recognises one of them, right? Why are they targeting Spaulding's shop? Look at it, it's a dump. They're obviously local to the area. Why have they picked this place knowing that there's probably no money?
Well, I know there's a lot of lies in this film, I think. There is a lot of why or what? Or did they say that? Why did they say that? Or why are they doing this? And I think you just need to kind of
go with it.
Check it in at the gate. And just go with it, because it's funny when he says, no, you work at the hardware store.
Yeah.
And he's like, you get a song of it, or other guys make fun of you because you get a little prick.
Yeah. I can't remember.
They start singing the song, which is funny because it's like, this guy's got a gun in you, so why would you be like, oh, I know you? You would just be like, but I think that's just to show this country back road town. They see guns all the time. Guns isn't a big thing to these guys. It's not a guy's got a gun. Who fucking cares? And it kind of hits that little kind of black comedy humour. Because on the sort of genres we've got, it's a splatter film, folk horror, exploitation film,
supernatural, a bit of zombie in there.
A zombie, grindhouse, drive-in. It's essentially, zombie he's an uber fan of genre films, and he's managed to through all these actors together. A lot of my character actors as well have been in horror films, for a lot of their career. So it's cool to see a guy like Zombie who is a fan almost like fake his way into this universal lot and start making a film there.
Mm-hmm.
That you're kind of like fucking right on, man.
See, as kids, you'd play with like action figures and make up your own stories. It's almost like he's got all these old horror icons and he's just influenced by all these old horror movies, and he's been given a set, almost like we would play with action figures. He's got a set to play with, and he's like just making it up in a way, and it is a lot of fun. And on like influences and stuff, see when they, I'm just going to keep calling them the victims because I can't remember their names, but when they arrive and they go on the murder ride, and they're getting shown, and it's got Ed Gein there, it's got, I can't remember who else,
Albert Fish,
yeah, and there's all these bodies and stuff. By the time you get to the end of the film, you just know half those bodies in that murder ride are probably real victims. That they're just not getting mentioned. The attractions on that ride, like Ed Gein and stuff, are probably some of Rob Zombie's influences about horror and telling the story. I'm not saying that he was like pro Ed Gein and what he did, but I mean, growing up, when Rob Zombie grew up, I mean, Ed Gein's been a big advocate. Ed Gein's been a big influence on horror with like Silence of the Lambs and stuff like that as well.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre as well.
But I was just going to say, Texas Chainsaw Massacres plays a big part with Ed Gein and with this film as well. So I just think putting this kind of murder ride in his film is like, I'm going to take you on a ride through my influences, almost. I just thought that was interesting.
That's it. That is essentially what he's done there. I love how is it Bill when he comes up and he's like, so how long are you in this place? He's like, I don't know, man. How long is a piece of string?
How long is a piece of string?
Pretty
fucking long.
I love the way he plays with him, and he's kind of just playing with us as well, because obviously we are like, this guy, we've just watched him blow the head off these two robbers, which we never really spoke about. We kind of thingied over that, but I do like that how when they arrive at the
shop,
Sid Haig is just like cleaning up the blood,
and
it's like, oh shit, these people come in.
And it's funny because at this point, like, obviously I came to this after Devil's Rejects, but if you came to this film not knowing anything, you still wouldn't know who your main character is at this point.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
Because you've got Sid Haig as Spaulding. Yes, he's vulgar. He's a bit mean. He uses offensive languages. But two people come in and try and rob him, and he stops it. And then the next time we see him, he's cleaning up that mess. It could be, the film at this point could be, two young couples come in and see that, go to the police, and it's about him trying to defend himself, and we're all rooting for Spaulding. If you did go in blind, you have no idea where this is going to go. But that's actually us getting introduced to the real...
Yeah.
Well, is it the real main characters? Because that's just the victims we're getting introduced to. And then it's like 20 minutes later, we get to meet the Firefly family.
Yeah. And there's a lot of ambiguity, isn't there, in who we should actually be rooting for, and not just this one, but both films. But yeah, we can touch on Rejects later on.
The victims end up at the Firefly house. They're basically not allowed to leave. Then when they go to leave, they're tortured. They're kidnapped and tortured. And that's basically the setup for the film, and that's the type of film that we know we're in for. That Texas Chainsaw Massacre, picking them off one by one. And then we get towards the end with Dr. Satan, and it goes a completely other way, almost supernatural. Parts of it actually reminded me. So we should say that they get buried alive.
Mm-hmm. Two of them, yeah. Jerry and Denise.
Look at you remembering their names. Male victim and female victim go down into like a pit, and then zombies kind of rise from the pit. So now we're in some sort of zombie film, and then we go further into a chamber, and further into the chamber there's like Dr. Satan and these henchmen, which reminded me, we've not really spoke about this, so I wonder if it did you, Hellraiser. Just the way they're dressed and the costumes.
I can see what you mean.
And I wonder if Hellraiser's maybe a bit of an influence in there as well. See the guy that comes after her with the goggles on? So trying to escape, kind of.
Dr. Satan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
the way the goggles just reminded me of like Hellraiser.
Yeah, I mean, you said it there. Like, I've got my notes here. That is when I kind of go, it doesn't need this, or it goes. Because I mean, the map that Spaulding's basically essentially told him the story of Dr. Satan, how he was a master surgeon who tortured these patients because he believed that he could unlock some kind of superhuman ability and create these sort of super soldiers or superhumans.
Kind of like the Nazis.
Kind of like the Nazis, yes. Kind of going down that.
Dr. Wolfenstein.
Dr. Wolfenstein is Dr. Mengele. So it's kind of, yeah, you're adding that sort of element to the film as well. And then it's discussed when the guys are, firing down the road in their car. And then when Baby meets them, they say about, do you know about this Dr. Satan's hanging tree? And she's like, yeah, sure, it's right by my house. And
of course it is.
Like, of course it is, it's like 2 miles down the road. I mean, it's like, why are you, standing there in the rain? Plus, she's got an umbrella, so it should have been all right. You know what I mean? But anyway, I would have picked her up.
Of course you would have. Of course.
Of course. But the kind of plot of Dr. Satan is sort of completely forgotten about for like the next 45 minutes. And then they're down, Jerry and Denise are down and they've been buried alive. And then all of a sudden their coffin starts being attacked by these sort of zombie-esque kind of creatures. And I think that's what he's touching on, is like, this Dr. Satan was real and this is his superhuman guys. And you're kind of like, I forgot about Dr. Satan.
So it's interesting, right? I'm going to spoil a little bit about Devil's Rejects here, but he uses the same sort of setup and payoff in the Devil's Rejects, where we start on Tiny and the Devil's Rejects dragging a body through the forest.
Yep.
And then the cops basically gun down the Firefly house and they make their escape. And then we follow them the rest of the film. And then towards the end, Tiny comes back and saves the day because we forgot about him. And it's almost like this was his first attempt at doing something similar. It was like, let's talk about Dr. Satan at the start. Then shit hits the fan. You're going to forget about it. And then, oh, by the way, it was real. And I think that's what they're going for here. But it just doesn't really land, I think, because we're so invested in it being more like a survival film. Are these victims going to get it out of here?
Yeah.
Sorry, are these victims going to get out of here? And it just goes kind of off the rails. And don't get me wrong, I found it quite interesting. I'm still watching. I was just like, this now feels kind of odd. It just felt
good word.
It just felt odd.
For this film.
What was I going to say on that? But it also goes a little bit. You said folk horror earlier. When they are burying them, name the characters again.
Denise and Jerry.
Male victim, female victim, yes. When Denise and Jerry are getting buried alive, the Firefly family kind of like stand in a circle round the pit, and it is almost like a sacrifice to the gods idea, which earlier on, right up to that point, these characters don't feel like they would.
Yeah.
They feel like they just kill for fun, not because it's for something. I don't know what Rob Zombie was trying to say with that there.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, and there is signs of it though, because like they talk about like Halloween. The family are a big Halloween family. They wear masks and stuff like that, and that is quite cultish. So there's little sprinkles of it, but I don't think it's enough to think that, they don't just kill for fun, because that's what the setup's been until that point.
Yeah, I think that's what he shows us, that they just kill for fun.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to say. Yeah, because
he just didn't know. I think he didn't know what he was going to do.
I think that's it. And it's cool to actually watch a film where people can look at it and go, that was a choice. Obviously, it's a choice that he's made. But if you're looking at it through the lens of a film must be set up like this, this must happen, you must not show this, you must not do this. This guy's just like, for his first time, just like, you know what, I'm full of beans, I've got all these ideas, I just want to show people them.
Mm-hmm.
Does it work? Does it not work? It's up to you. It's up to your. I mean, literally, I would rather sit and watch this than Devil's Rejects.
That's an interesting thing. I was going to bring that up in part 2, but yeah, it's more of a fun watch. Devil's Rejects is a hard watch at times.
Yeah.
And we can go into that more in
Yeah.
a second. But I agree that tonally they're both different as well.
So much, there's a lot going on. We've even spoken about the cheerleaders yet.
Oh yeah.
The film's trying to set us up for showing that this is something that's been going on for a while with the Firefly family. And you've got the missing posters all up around town, etc., etc. Denise, Billy, Mary, and Jerry are
Well done.
essentially going through traveling the country, checking out these sort of backwoods roadside attractions. But throughout their travels, I guess they must be going close to Denise's house. So she makes a call to them to say they're at this place, Captain Spaulding's place, not too far away, but it's why is it they're delayed? Is it because she says something to him over the phone? He's like, "Oh, don't be too late then." And then he says something about because it's Halloween Eve.
It's Halloween Eve that they're travelling, yeah. Is it not because they break down? No, because they've not got a phone at that point.
Not got a phone at that point. She calls him anyway just to maybe touch base with him. And I think at that point you see some news throughout the film. At the start, there's I think a radio announcement. I think you see some news anchor as well explaining that there's no leads in this disappearance of 5 cheerleaders who have went missing in the area. And then at some point the film just sort of just shows you the 5 cheerleaders being in like the Firefly house and being tortured.
That's the splice kind of
stuff,
video footage that I'm talking about. Yeah.
And you're just kind of like, what the fuck? Okay. So it's trying to show us that these guys aren't to be messed with. And with the missing posters, it's like this is something these guys have been doing this for years essentially. But that's all we know. You said that we don't know much about them. All we know is Denise is a woman who has a dad, and he lives kind of close by, maybe a couple of hours away, and that's it.
And the dad knows the local sheriff.
The dad knows. We'll find out. The dad knows the local sheriff.
We know more about the dad than we
know more about the dad than we do about these guys. So there's no.
We know more about the cheerleaders. The fact that we know they're cheerleaders. We know what they do for a living.
Exactly. We know more about them than we do fucking the main characters, if that's who they are. Do we like the main characters? There's a question.
Nah.
That's kind of shit, isn't
it? They're just meh. Okay, so it's interesting because this could be deliberate by Rob Zombie. Maybe I'm leaning too much into it because it is his first film, and as you says, he came from like music video background and stuff like that, where with a lot of directors like that, story isn't key, visuals and style is key, right?
Yeah.
But let's say story is key as well. I think what this film is trying to say, and this isn't the first horror film to say this, is I think the theme of this film is, as a society, we're too polite to say no, or we're too polite to offend. And what I mean with that is, they break down and then they get brought to the Firefly house and then they're like, oh, you'll stay for dinner. And they could just turn around and go, no, it's fine, we'll wait in the car. Because the Firefly family are freaking them out, but they don't want to offend, so they stay. They're sitting at the dinner table, they're like, you must put on your mask. They end up putting on the mask because they don't want to offend, because it's rude to offend people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what this film is. If we just stand up for ourselves a bit more and go, no, it's all right, we're just going to wait outside. Thanks for the trouble. That's kind of what it's trying to say. It's the same as, like, have you seen Funny Games?
Yeah.
Things like that, where you end up letting somebody into your house because it's rude not to. Just different. There's lots of films like that with those thematic messages. Quite often, like, have you seen, I don't want to spoil the ending, but the film called The Invitation?
Yes.
Where they go back to his ex-wife's for dinner.
Jason Bateman?
No. That, again, that's got the same theme. The one with Jason Bateman is The Gift.
The Gift.
It's also got Joel Edgerton in it as well.
Oh, okay.
So yes, I know like The Gift and House of a Thousand Corpses are very different films, but even with The Gift, they don't want to offend Gordo, who's Joel Edgerton's character, who's like an old high school friend, and he keeps doing weird shit, like leaving him weird gifts and things like that. And rather than just go and fuck off, like you're freaking me out, they accept the gifts, and before you know it, it's bled into the house.
Yeah.
And that's the thematic message in there, is like, there's more than just that in that film, but I think that's the point of this, is sometimes like, if we just kind of stood up for ourselves and didn't worry that we offended people, and it's very topical just now, like offended people, but I think it's quite interesting.
And do you think the Fireflies are going to be like feel offended, like if they say if the shoe was in their foot, they're in a bit of trouble, and somebody tries to be a bit strange with them, they'll just be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like they're going to say what they think, what they feel.
That's the point. Like, look at Spaulding when he gets the gun pointed at him.
Fuck your mama!
I mean,
fuck your sister!
He's not caring about offending anyone, but he survives. He survives. What do you think of the kind of Firefly house and the whole theatre show they put on?
Oh man,
the dinner
theatre show is great. I mean, we've got okay. So we should probably go through the characters here. We've got Sid Haig, Captain Spaulding. We've got Bill Moseley playing Otis. Karen Black is Mother Firefly. Sherry Moon Zombie's baby Firefly. Matthew McGrory is Tiny Firefly. We've also got Grandpa. Yep, we've got him as well. I think this was his last film.
Okay.
I think.
Who's very much like Grandpa in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that was no influence on Rob Zombie at all, supposedly.
Yep.
Like Tiny covering his face for most of the film. No influence
at all.
Yeah.
I did really enjoy when Tiny eventually comes into the room and everyone's just standing there like,
yeah,
just because he's a sight to behold, isn't he? It is quite uncomfortable. It is quite. There are bits where you do generally feel like, well, this is kind of getting under my skin a little bit. Even the bit when so Bill goes. So when they break down with Sherry Moon in the car, break down, they get their tire shot by Killer Cal. Is it? He's another one of the Firefly family. Bill and Sherry.
Are you talking about character or actors here?
Oh, fuck. Bill and Baby
go
to the house, and that's when we first see the Firefly house.
Can I jump in there as well? See all the dolls that Baby's got on the outside? I think that's a nice metaphor for all the bodies. I wonder if every time they kill someone, they put a doll up.
Yeah, probably. Probably.
There's no other reason for it. Yeah. It's wacky, but...
And it's, I did like when, like, so she says that her brother is away to get the guys already, even though it's only been like 5 seconds, and she's went into the house and she said, going to go down to this place down the road and pick up these guys. And he's went, aye, okay, got up, went into his car, and then Bill's still standing outside. But anyway, we can, let it slip or whatever. And then
Stupid Bill,
right? And then he goes in and she sits him down and she makes him a cup of hot chocolate. And
which looks good.
Oh, that's the only thing that was good in that scene. And then we get Baby coming in with the hot chocolate, turning around, and obviously she's wearing her pajamas and like half her ass is hanging out.
Not the first time you're going to see her arse hanging out in these two films either.
Absolutely, yep. So it's you do cringe a lot when she's sitting there and she's sort of, I guess, chatting him up, and you're just like, oh, fuck, yeah, it's a bit uncomfortable.
I wish that was me. Sorry, Karen.
And then eventually, the guys, is it Rufus Firefly goes and gets the guys and brings them back to the house, and then we get introduced to Karen Black's Mother Firefly. And she's quite a sight to behold as well, isn't she?
So it's interesting coming from seeing Devil's Rejects first, again, because, as I says, like, Baby in that is very confident, and she is controlling, she's manipulative, and she's manipulative in this one as well. But when Mother Firefly starts like trying to seduce the men, she's jealous. She's like a stroppy little teenager.
Yeah.
And I wondered watching it, right? Is Baby just going with the flow in this film? Is she really a killer? Or is she just doing it because the rest of the family do it? Does she enjoy it? I don't know. Like, that's what I got from this film. Is she like just there to set the trap to seduce the men back to the house for the rest to kill?
Or she just eye candy as well for the guys? In the film,
In the film, yeah.
the viewers as well, probably.
But it's just interesting. So I got a totally different vibe from her than the sequel.
Yeah, because I think there's one point where she's upstairs getting ready for dinner, and she's one of the cheerleaders is in the room with her, and she just like,
give me a B, give me an A, give me a B, give me a Y. What does that spell, baby? Ugh, shoot me now. Ugh. What do we think of Sherry Moon Zombie then? Is she a good actor?
I don't know. I mean, like, I quite liked her in Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Me too. And that was the second Rob Zombie film I've seen, and I was excited for it after Devil's Rejects, not really knowing any of his work. Sorry, we're going off on a nice segue here. No, off on a tangent.
And
I enjoyed Rob Zombie's Halloween, and I enjoyed her in it as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's probably her best performance from the films that she's done.
Don't get me started in Halloween 2.
Oh.
But yes, I would love to see Sherry Moon Zombie in a film that is not a Rob Zombie film. I would like to see her be directed by someone else. Maybe not even a horror film, just to see what else she's got there. You know,
maybe there is something out there. We can have a look and check it out. Because in this, I think she's clearly probably the most maybe inexperienced actor. Forget like Denise and the other sort of young folk in the film. Like, all these other actors are really, really strong character actors, and she's kind of got to do the same. And maybe she just doesn't have that craft yet. She's not at the time to sort of hone her skills. I don't know if there's a little bit of that.
Maybe I still...
Plus, she's a new director as well, directing you, who's maybe never done this before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like maybe Rob Zombie doesn't really know what he's doing properly at this moment, so doesn't know how to give direction, because she is better in Devil's Rejects.
Yeah.
The directing is also better in Devil's Rejects, so the two of them have maybe learned a lot. Obviously, I'm a filmmaker. Every time I make a film, I get better, so that is not a criticism. I still find her annoying in Devil's Rejects as well. However, I think it is the character she's playing. I don't think she's a bad actor at all. I think the character is annoying. There's an advert in the UK for our UK listeners, and it's for Haribo, and it's always like adult characters, and every time they eat Haribo, they have child voices, and they act like children, and it does my fucking head in. Right? And I think my mum used to do my mum's head in as well. My mum used to moan, she's like, I mean, we really need to be teaching children how to talk normal, not to keep this kid like, and it annoyed her as well. To me, Sherry Moon Zombie is acting like a baby in this, and I know it's their name, and I think it annoys me because no one really acts as like, nobody acts like that.
No.
And I know she's putting on an act in front of the victims, but I'd be like, if I was one of those people in our house, I'm like, she's a fucking nutcase. So it's all a show, but for who?
Yeah,
do you get what I mean here?
Yeah.
It's a bit lost in it, and
and some of her lines kind of fall flat. I think when she's in the car with when the guys pick her up and they say about, you know, where is the tree, and she goes, what tree?
Yeah,
and it's like, what, and they're like, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about, and you're just like,
and then she's like, I'll show you the tree. You're just
like, this is what she's been given.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like, that's not really her fault. I did like the dance. You see the show that? I loved the imagery of her being that sort of that doll and miming the words to the lyrics to the song. I thought that was a really, really cool scene. And And I thought it was hilarious as well with the facial expressions, especially from like Denise and that, where they're just kind of like over the top, shocked at what they're witnessing.
But then it cuts to one of the other guys, and he's fucking
Jerry's
loving it. Yeah,
and he's loving the grandest.
Jesus, Jerry.
he's loving the grandest jokes.
Yeah,
I mean, the granda's on like talking about like fucking eat your wife's pussy, rah, and there's a lot of these like screams. He does it in a microphone, and that's just for like that jarring effect. Zombies coming out of the film with, he just wants it to be a sort of overload of the senses, and you do kind of get that watching it, and then it goes into Baby's sort of dance where things slow down a little bit, and then she makes, I mean, I don't know if she makes the mistake, but she goes over and she sits on Bill's knee.
Yeah.
And then Denise throws her off, and she's like, "I'm going to kill you," and all that kind of shit. And Baby's like, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that." And she gets up and she's like, "I'm going to fucking cut your tits off."
Yeah.
It's just like, but then once the guys leave, and again, it's a little bit annoying. That annoying factor is like when she looks to her mum and she's like, "Mama, I love you. I love you too." Then the two of them just start.
But it's funny because like she was annoyed at her mum for like seducing the guy earlier, and I'm like, I don't understand the relationship between mum and daughter. What's for show? What's really happening there? What is interesting about how much the guys loving the show, right? Like with the grandpa, is because that's why they've went on this journey, is to see these mad, crazy roadside attractions, and now they're getting one in basically someone's living room.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they're travelling for. So it makes sense that he's like, this is fucking nuts. This is what we're travelling across state for. Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, and on that, this is probably one of my points, is that I think Zombie does a really good job, and I think this is where a lot of the positives and the point in this film come, are the shocking reveals that he clearly, I think he's really looking forward to get there. And that's when, we see Bill being like the fish boy. It's that Otis pulling back the curtain and revealing.
Yeah.
And I think Zombie knows how to do that. I think he's quite strong in that. I think that's a big positive in the film. You've got it with Bill's reveal. It does kind of show you him being tortured, like in that sort of home video type of format. Yeah. It's like a snuff film we're watching. And their reactions, it does kind of mirror a little bit Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Marilyn Burns' character, when she's been, just completely abused by the Hewitt family. Hewitt, fucking hell.
But yeah, there's that scene, like the ending when she runs onto the road to get away, is very similar to Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Devil's Rejects.
And this as well. No, at the end of this, she runs onto the road after she gets out of the pit and all that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Right, like towards the end.
Spaulding picks her up.
It's Spaulding, yeah.
Spaulding does pick it up. Yeah.
That's very similar to Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, totally, yeah. The other scene that I really enjoyed, and I think, and again, it was quite shocking. And again, I think that's the strong parts of the film, but I think that's what Zombie is out of the entire film. I think that's the bit I think he's got kind of spot on, is the when the dad comes on board to this police investigation that's going on, because he knows the cop.
The dad whose daughters went missing.
Daughters went missing. Yeah,
when he got the phone call earlier. Yeah,
the one who got the phone call earlier. The cops they pick up their car that's been completely totaled and things like that. And eventually they somehow figure out Spaulding is involved by. How does that come about?
Because she phoned and said that they were at the ride, the Monsters and Mayhem.
Yeah, that's right. And they end up
when the cops go to Spaulding's and they show the photo, and he's like, "I like a little bit more meat on mine, more cushion for the pushing."
He's a nasty bastard, isn't he? Oh, He's a nasty bastard. Yeah, so the Walton Goggins and the dad, Denise's dad, end up on the farm, and it's a really, really cool reveal. I think the dad opens up the barn and it starts to kind of go slow motion, and then you see the reveal of his daughter up there who's still alive, and she's just going off her nut because she's clearly very, very traumatized. Everything slows down. You get a great reaction shot of the dad's face seeing his baby, strung up like a fucking stuck pig. And I think that's very, very impactful. And it reminds me of, I think he used the same sort of setup in Halloween 2 when Annie, played by Danielle Harris, gets it, where everything goes silent.
Uh-huh.
And she's already survived Michael from the first film, so she has been scarred by him physically as well as mentally as well. And this sort of, I think he kind of took what he done in that shot and he replicated that again in Halloween 2.
Right.
The music kind of, the audio kind of stops, and then it just sort of plays out, and then there's a kind of cacophony of sound as the music comes back in and the sound. And from there, we see the death of the deputy, which is amazing. That crane shot.
Yes, I was just going to say that. Yeah,
Fuck.
And it was interesting because as a filmmaker, when I watched this crane shot, so yeah, the deputy, it's Walton, isn't it?
Walton, yeah.
It's on his knees.
Goggins.
So Walton is on his knees looking up, and Otis pulls his gun out and points it at him for ages, and then it's like one of the slowest shots ever. The camera just keeps pulling back on a crane. And I was like, oh, we're not going to see this. I didn't think we were going to see the gun go off, because I didn't think back then, and the low budget of it, I was like, they're not going to be able to pull this off here. So it's going to, like, as the gun is fired, we're going to cut to something else, and you just hear like birds float up into the air or something. But no, they shoot him. And I thought that was interesting because that's around about the midpoint of the film. And I think it's saying it, there's no going back now, we will kill cops. There's nothing that will stop this family. There is no law. And if we think that, how's the rest of the victims going to get out of this? That's a cool shot.
Yeah, it's a really, really cool shot. So I think there is, again, that's showing, well, you never know if it's going to be his idea or not as a director, but it's showing you that he's clearly got a lot of skill, ideas, vision. Is probably, that's what I'm looking for.
So I've got another kind of thing in here that reminded me of from Dusk Till Dawn.
Okay.
So Dusk Till Dawn, there was a lot of pussy. You get big pussy, little pussy, white pussy, black pussy. In this, the liquor shop was called
Pussy Liquor?
Red Hot Pussy Liquor. Which can't be a coincidence.
Nope.
Red Hot Pussy Liquor.
Yeah.
And it's because liquor sounds like liquor as well, so just in case.
Just in case they never got that.
Well, my Scottish accent might have not been getting that across.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. And I've just got a note here as well, which was quite cool, that Bill Moseley played Johnny in the remake of Night of the Living Dead. They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Did he?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So he's got range.
Shit, aye. He's got range. Well, okay. How would you rate it?
I would give it 3 out of 5 fried chicken. 3 out of 5 fried chicken.
I'd quite like to try that. Fried chicken, I bet it would be.
It's going to be sitting out a while.
Aye.
No, I think it's a good film. I think it just loses me at the end.
It totally loses me at the end as well.
I would like to see... I think Devil's Rejects is the better film. This is a lot more fun. What I would like to see is... I know Free From Hell isn't meant to be that good, but I know he didn't have much of a budget again. He couldn't get it financed. So I'd just like to see Rob Zombie do something with these characters again with the same scale as Devil's Rejects, but a bit more fun, something a bit more fun. Now, I know Sid Haig has passed away, R.I.P. Sid Haig. However, I would like to see a prequel of Sid Haig's character Spaulding.
How he came to be.
I just think he's an interesting character, but I will talk more about why I think he's an interesting character in part 2. So what would you rate it?
I mean, I'd probably say technically and stuff, like, there's a lot of faults, but I would say I'd probably be with you on it, maybe a 3. But the way I feel when I watch it, I'd probably go with a 4. Because when I watch it,
Nice.
it just takes me in, and I'm just like, this is fucking great. I just think it's brilliant. But when you look at it and you dissect it, you're a bit like, But I think you're looking at a guy who's clearly just a fan of the genre, been given this opportunity, and any interview I've watched of him, I've always went, you sound like just a fucking cool guy, man. And you're just a cool guy making fucking films with your wife and some friends and like horror icons and bringing them all in. And
Which is another Tarantino thing of working with like a lot of the same people and stuff like that as well.
Yeah. So there's that element to it. And I do get completely sucked in for that first maybe hour and 15 minutes. I'm like, this is just brilliant. And then it does lose me in the last 10 minutes or so.
So there you have it. I'm giving it a 3 out of 5. Steven's giving it the big 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 liquors.
4 out of 5 liquors.
Steg, what is your creative recommendation?
My creative recommendation is I've been playing Resident Evil Revelations 2 on the PS4, so on PS Plus. I've been playing that for the last week and a half or so. Pretty good. I've never played it before.
I'm a big fan of it as well.
You're a big fan of that one, yeah.
The 2 Revelations games,
Yeah. What about yourself? What's your creative recommendation this week?
Mine is a novel called Paper Girls. Yeah, it's by Paper Girls by Alex Smith. So when I was on holiday in Cyprus, I read a book by Alex Smith. I found it in a charity shop called Bad Dog. And I read it. Good book. I enjoyed it. Quite a page turner. Ending is a bit wacky. But when I went to leave my review on Goodreads, I realised it was the sequel. So I did the same thing as Devil's Rejects, which is why I thought this would be a good creative recommendation. So it's the original called Paper Girls. It's not quite horror. It's about a detective trying to hunt down someone that's kidnapping children from the paper rounds.
Okay, cool.
So I'm about 100 pages left. But what I would say, across the 2 books, the main detective in it is a great character. He's got to look after his 3 children, single parent, and be a detective. So it's quite tough. But the characters are great, and usually that mystery works quite well. So Paper Girls, Alex Smith, and I think there's about 5 books all in.
Sweet, nice one. I've done the same with Harry Potter. I read Prisoner of Azkaban before I read any.
Really?
When I was a wee guy. And then when I found out, obviously, it was like, I think Goblet of Fire was coming out. And I went into like Safeway, which is now Morrison's, and I saw like the big boards and like the advertising of Harry Potter. And I was like, I just read that book. It's Goblet of Fire. And I was like, and then I looked and I found out it was book 3 and I had to go back and start from the beginning. So there you go.
Well, at least the other ones are shorter.
Aye, exactly, yeah.
Cool.
Shall we get on to the Devil's Rejects?
Let's do the Devil's Rejects. So join us in a week for that.
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare, huh?
We're friends to the end, remember?
This is the end, friend.